Yo, you are tuned in to another episode of the 3% Show, where my truth is. I believe everybody will tell you their truth. You know, people tell you 97% of their truth, and it's dope and it's admirable. But the 3% unspoken holds power in your life, no matter if it's good, bad, horrible, or it's the thing that keeps you going no matter what happens. So today I am so excited. I'm not going to be before you long. I'm not going to talk long. I have three incredible young ladies here with P3. Like I'm homesick, even though they don't know it. Like I'll be keeping up with what goes on in the city. We got these three young ladies, incredible. I'm going to stop talking less. I'm going to let these young ladies introduce themselves, and I'm just going to poke the bear along the way. How about that?
That's hilarious. Good evening, everybody. I am Tiara Nicole Cooper, and I am the founder of Adet Consulting and Publishing, and I have the honor of being the project lead on a phenomenal conference that's going to be coming to the Kansas City area, hosted by none other than Poetry for Personal Power, also known as P3. It is the first mental health conference centered and catered around the Black and African American experience. Mm-hmm. And so that's what makes this conference so unique. I am very excited to be a part of it. Today, I wanted to come on just so we could talk about it more in depth and to tell the people more about what this conference is and how it is going to benefit our community, especially our Kansas and Missouri communities. I have with us today the director of Poetry for Personal Power, my friend, Sheri Purpose Hall.
Purpose.
Right. Hi, sweetie.
Hey.
And I also have with us none other than Tiara Nicole, who is, let me just put it on out there, 2021's best spoken word poet, according to the Kansas City People Choice Award. She be out here doing her thing and whatnot. And she's also a feature for our gala, which is a fundraiser event that we will be closing the conference out with. And that's going to be phenomenal as well. So that's why I'm here. I'm just here so I don't get fired on my day off.
I see you, Marshawn. I got some Skittles for you because you win.
Okay.
Now, if I might ask just a few questions of you ladies, and I think I'm familiar with some of your work because I'll be keeping up, even though I'm in Houston, Texas. I do know that, Coop, you've been trying to make a movement for a long time. You've been professing. I mean, you've been thinking of this. You've been saying that you want to make a statement, even going back with your books. And I believe two of the young ladies have written incredible books. So I'm going to get back to the Purpose and T. Nicole, because she be in the cut. But I just wanted to say I thank you ladies for allowing me to be a platform, a vessel for you all. I think it's incredible what you're doing. As I was talking about earlier, I thought about this when she asked me to do this show. Poetry has always seemed so deep, or you talk so fast and you're so militant, or you're so sad, or you ooze sexiness. But what your conference is actually doing by speaking on mental health awareness, just changing lives, taking your tragedies and making it into art, it's so incredible because poets have enough guts to be themselves and reveal how they feel, how another person may feel, to be inspired. But you all have verbally been saying it for years. And now more recently, as we all can attest, now mental health is in the forefront of everybody's life. So I just want to commend you on what you're doing for Kansas City, because I've been back to Kansas City recently and we need something. And we need more people that are not just human. We need humane people out here doing the right thing. So that's fully invested. Miss Purpose, can you tell me a little bit about yourself with the eyebrows? And one.
So my name is Sheri Purpose Hall. I'm a spoken word artist, also the CEO of Poetry for Personal Power, and we are a mental wellness and arts agency. As for me, I am a competitive poet. I am the author of 4 books, soon to be 5. I also have a publishing company, Penfire Publishing, and I also started another nonprofit, East of Red Art House. I'm a mom.
I was about to say.
I'm a Slytherin.
And then you got an award for the joint too, right?
I have a what?
You got an award for one of your books too.
I do. For Writing Wrongs, Writing to Heal, Bike for the Brain actually awarded me a grant. And that is actually how I printed that book and started my first 10 sessions. So the book is set up in modules where I'm able to walk people through this writing to heal process, and we all learn. I'm not a teacher, I'm a facilitator. So I'm facilitating a space and opening it up where we can all learn together. And it's awesome. I find that the co-learning model works best. So when we all participate together, we do better.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I can't hide in the back of the class like I used to as a jock. This is a tragedy.
Nah.
Come on, girl. And Miss T. Nicole. I mean,
How are you?
You good?
I'm good. How are you?
Oh, life's a beautiful struggle. I'm just here living it. I'm here. I'm good.
I am blessed to be here. As you said, I am Tiara Nicole. I am Kansas City's People Choice Award Best Spoken Word Artist of the Year for 2021. I try not to twist too many horns. I am the Kansas City People's Choice Best Spoken Word Artist of the Year for 2021. And I deserve it. I'm supposed to be there.
I appreciate you saying that.
I'm supposed to
say that.
I'm supposed to have it.
Y'all hear that?
I at the top of the year, I'm Kansas City born and raised. Went to area schools. I graduated from Southeast High School, class 2004. I am the mother of an amazing 7-year-old son. And I think that's probably outside of what I've been able to do with poetry. I think in life, that is the biggest accomplishment I've made. It's having him. It was the only thing, that's the only thing up until this point that I've seen all the way through to the end. And I'm still going. No matter how hard it gets, I'm still getting through it. It took me having him to realize I need to get back out here on the stage.
Yeah.
And so you can tell my son, thank you, is the first book, but was it something I said is the second book. Correct. And they'll all be dropping in January. So be on the lookout for that.
Books in January because
she on some more Beyonce stuff. We ain't gonna give you one. We're gonna give you the cause and the effect. Okay.
Okay. I'll give you the reason why, and then I'll give you the follow-up later, because I definitely grew up between both of the books. You'll see the growth between both of the books. Yeah, poetry saved my life. It did. Absolutely. But if it hadn't been for, I needed a reason to come back. And I gave birth to it.
And that's so interesting. That's interesting because life is about cause and effect. No matter how minute the cause is, it's always going to be an effect, no matter what you do. And you're also the program coordinator for P3, correct?
Correct. That I coordinate. Right now, I am one of the lead facilitators for our wellness recovery action plan training that we do, which is RAP for short. So basically what we do is we walk people through what I like to call an advanced directive. Okay. In the off chance of a crisis, if in the event that all hell has broken loose and people need to know what to do in the case of an emergency. And I mean, this is not a drill, this is not a test, this is the real thing, this is what you need. I walk you through those steps. We talk about everything. We talk about everything from who you want there to the people that you don't want there and why. I have seen RAP plans created for weddings. I've seen it created for graduations. I've seen it created for plenty of things. It's not just for mental health recovery. These RAP trainings are not just for that. It's just for anything that you feel like you need to have a course or a plan of action to get through what you're going through or a day-to-day process. We recognize that this mental health journey is a process. Absolutely. It does not happen overnight. The healing does not happen almost instantaneously. If I be honest with myself, this has been a 5-year run. I started at 30. I said, I'm gonna do what I need to do to make my son proud of me. And it took me 5 years to get where I am.
That's the only thing about it. First steps.
That's just it says a lot. But outside of that, I recruit artists. I will work with artists. I'll show up to your event and I'll root you on and I'll support you because I believe in the art. I believe in people. Even though they're not always, not all people are personable, not all people are lovable. They're not so lovable all the time. I still believe in people, and poetry for personal power came into being when it was supposed to.
Absolutely.
And this has been the best. This has probably been the best decision. This is the best thing that I've probably done in my 35 years.
So linking with that, how did you ladies come together to form this like Voltron of things? Because I'm not gonna lie, Kansas City is a beautiful place with beautiful talent. And I've always said, no matter if it's musically or even with poets, we just needed a foundation in as you were talking about, a plan. Besides just trying to do what everybody else is doing, we need to see the beauty within ourselves, understand the talent that we have and the power that we have, being in the middle of the map. Because like I said, you go 4 hours down the street, St. Louis, they got sponsors and more. So I commend you all for starting this, but did you all just kind of see each other out? I mean, she says she's going just for the love of the game, but were y'all like peeping each other out, trying to, y'all sitting there with your holsters?
No. So Poetry for Personal Power is actually 12 years old. The founder's name is Karina West, and she was an Olympian. She's also a consumer of mental health. So she started this agency with that in mind. And there's a good story behind how she came to kind of recognize the healing power of poetry. You fast forward and there's me as an artist. I'm also working in the corporate sphere. At that time, I was working for Sprint, Ericsson, and all that stuff. So I was doing network engineering and then moonlighting as an artist. Even though the artist has always been the main portion, but you got to make the monies.
Take your time, Sparkle. Go ahead.
Okay. I came on as a sponsored artist in 2012, started doing more advocate work, administrative functions and things like that, going through like 2015 when she realized that, a lot of artists are not able to do, they don't do the business side, they don't do admin functions, they don't do those different things. I call us who do both of those things day walkers. So she recognized, oh, this is a day walker, she can do other stuff. Cool. So I contracted at that point and then became an employee, and that's when I was given the task to start the peer support program in 2017. The long story short, the founder stepped down in 2019 and I became interim, and now I'm actually the CEO of the company. So within that time, I've seen so many different programs start, roll, go, so many people come in and out. I actually met Tiara coming to poetry sets. She was just there. She would be there. She'd be smiling. She'd be sitting in the back. She'd have her hands folded. She'd be looking. And I'm like, this person's interesting.
Yeah.
And one day she made a clarion call on Facebook and I answered and we talked. And from there, it's history how she came on. But we have 14 employees, 80 sponsored artists and advocates, operate in 3.5 states. We're going to say almost 4 because we're trying to start some new regions up. So from the beginning to now, we're moving and grooving.
Well, I think it's a beautiful thing if you think about it, because you actually started when everything hit the fan. Like everything hit the fan. So not only were you mentored in the correct way, you have a passion for it and a drive, and now you have a dream team around you, but you made it through the whole beginning of COVID. So that says a lot about the initiative.
It was really an objective because again, we have an arts program and a lot of artists lost their jobs during COVID. The job, and people don't look at it like this is a job. Yes, it's a job. When people get up on the stage, I don't care if it's a onesie, twosie performance or if it's an extra part to their income, them little extra dollars make the difference between meals throughout the entire month or borrowing from Peter to pay Paul. So a lot of people lost a lot of their livelihood during COVID, especially artists. And I am just proud that we were able to continue to fund our programs and allow artists to perform even virtually and still yet pay them the same thing for providing resilience messaging and working with people in their mental health and doing the advocacy work.
That's blessings. That's blessings.
It is.
And then you got Coop up here traveling. I never know what state she's gonna be in. She's
Oh, wow.
You know what I'm saying? Now she in the Chi-Town. She up here walking like she Nina popping. I don't know what's going on with you.
I'm barely walking, listen, but I'm making it. So long history, but to kind of wrap it all up, anyone that knows me knows that I've been in the direct service field the majority of my career. My career is in healthcare. So I've been a mental health professional, primarily in the HIV and AIDS sector. However, we know that with that transcends a number of other disparities, right? Homelessness and domestic violence and you name it. So I've always been involved. My involvement with Poetry for Personal Power was once Sheri came on as a sponsor artist, she kind of pulled me along, and it was my opportunity to be able to combine my art platform with what I was doing in my everyday career. So what I wanted to bring to P3 was that clinical experience, because we know that they provide non-clinical services. And that's a great thing, because there's been such a gap in the community for mental health where Black and African Americans do not trust mental health professionals, right? Let's just call a spade, okay? So even for those of us like myself that work in those arenas, we work in systems that have a lot of red tape that really prevent us from being able to do the kind of work that we would like to do or make the kind of changes we would like to see within our own communities, right? We also have a lot of non-POCs that work in the communities. They come out of college and they don't really respect the lived experience. They respect the work and the education, but they don't, oh, over here, stuff falling apart, okay. But I know, I kicked it with my foot, with my good foot. I was trying to adjust, but anyway. That's neither here nor there.
And I understand what you're saying about worker ants too, because that's more me. I could care less. Like, let's just get out there, let's get it, and you do it. Right. Love it.
But non-POC members who come into our communities, because let's face it, those are the ones that are primarily working in our Black communities. It's not a lot of us. So it is important that they be culturally competent. Which is one of the reasons why we wanted to do this conference, is because we wanted to open the door up for education, for a sharing of information between us and non-other POCs, also between us and our communities, because it's just a lot of mistrust. Okay, COVID didn't add to that. COVID definitely was a contributor to an increase number of mental health symptoms that we've seen in a very long time, right? Being isolated and being secluded away from other human beings. And as Tiara says, you know, mental health shows up in so many different ways. And some people may say, okay, well, what about a graduation? Well, a graduation can be stressful. It can create triggers, right? And it can cause a person to spiral or unravel quickly. So having those plans of actions. So ideally for me, coming in, it was to assist, to provide my 24 years of expertise, along with my artistic, I've been performing since 2008. So to bring that to the table. And luckily I have a friend in high places who was like, I think you're pretty dope and you're pretty smart too. And so she let me do a thing. And so we'll see how it works out. You know, y'all just show up on the 14th and we'll all just see, won't we?
I can't with you.
So check it out. For this episode, I want to head into notes. And again, P3 and don't Poetry for Personal Power. It is a nonprofit organization based out of Kansas City, correct?
Yes.
Okay, so I believe one of the mottos is healing blends of art, advocacy, entrepreneurship, and mental wellness. You want to give people a platform and the path of transformation, correct? So we've been talking about that. So that's why I think it's so dope. And it says from victim to artist to advocate and beyond. So you're basically not just trying to help people, you're trying to get them to a place of where they can be healed in more and be able to accept and go ahead and spread out more information. So I think that's dope, because I don't think it's the correct thing when you just try to keep somebody in your program that long. We need people to go ahead and thrive and strive through it so they can welcome more people in and assist, and that's how it grows. So you have the first ever Rite of Joy conference, October the 14th through 15th, correct?
Correct.
Okay, so it's gonna deal with mental health crisis in the Black community. You have 2 days of information, oh Lord, take two, hold on. Okay. So you have 2 days of services going on. Go ahead and tell me a little bit about everything that's going, because I see the theme is, anybody want to talk about the theme?
Reclaiming the sun for melanated people.
Uh-huh. Uh-huh. Uh-huh.
So we had a think tank. We had a think tank that came together for this. Number one, yeah, I can think of and do things and put them together myself. That's cool, or whatever. One of the major components of Poetry for Personal Power is that we are a consumer-run organization. What that means is that everyone who works here, is involved with here, is on the board here, has had experience with the mental health system, has experience with mental wellness issues, may have experienced trauma or even substance abuse. We are all lived experience people. One of the main components of community engagement science is you bring people in at the beginning, period. We go out and preach that, and that's what we have to do from the inside. So yeah, I could have pulled this together and said all these ideas myself, but it was so much better to bring people into a think tank. Wouldn't have the Rite of Joy or Reclaiming the Sun for Melanated People, that tagline, without it. So it started initially at a conference call for a brainstorm. What do we want to do? What do we want to be? We knew where we were going with this. We wanted the conference to be to cater to Black and African American community and those who serve those communities.
Okay.
Because we were actually going, and we're still going, for a center of excellence status for the service of Black and African American people. With that being said, the Rite of Joy is your right, just like a rite of passage. We need to start looking at our joy as a right, as something that we have claim to, is something that's going to happen at a certain point in our life. We need to start looking at it like that. When we begin to reclaim the sun, the saying is that the sun shines on everyone, right? But when we talk about Black history, and when we talk about Black folk, and when we talk about the Black community, all we ever talk about is rain. You know, there's tears, there's bullets raining, there's disparities raining. Everything is just rain. It's rain. And we have to reclaim our sun. We have to reclaim our joy. We have to be proactive in what we do for our community. And part of mental health, it's not just inside of the clinical service. It's not just in the medication, but when these people come out into their communities, what are the pillars that insulate them and help keep them up? Your first intervention for your mental health shouldn't have to be at a mental health hospital. Somebody in your community, there should be a pillar, there should be infrastructure. We have to begin to reclaim all of that for ourselves. And the sun is a primary source of nourishment for everything on earth. So we got to get our nourishment. We got to reclaim our sun in whatever way that comes.
And it's so important to start small. Like I always say, the next big thing in the community, or the next famous person that we always want to go up to, it's probably started. He's sitting right there. He just doesn't have a platform. She's sitting right there. She just doesn't have a platform. She's killing it in a poetry game. You took over during COVID. She's just here so she won't get fired. So, but I mean, you're absolutely right. You are basically the linking verb to everything that needs to happen as far as this word and more. What were you gonna say, Ms. Coop?
You're on mute.
You're on mute.
Because I was knocking over stuff.
See?
But what I was going to say was, that's the one thing that I admire most about Poetry for Personal Power and their structure, their dynamic, and especially the director, who, even if she wasn't my friend, is just a phenomenal visionary, right? And she's also someone who actually not just talks the talk, but walks the walk. She is a lot like me, and we have kindred spirits in that. We both have been the pillar in communities, the floor for women and men to come and wail and share their hearts long before, right, we started talking to them about mental health professional help. And I'm a mental health professional, but that has never still been my first recourse. It's always been community first, right? Because this is what we trust. It takes a village, and we've gotten so far away from that, right? And so again, that is one of the things that I just truly love about Sheri and the things that she's doing over there at Poetry for Personal Power, actually all of the staff members, because without community, we wouldn't be where we are. Without community, even the people that are getting help wouldn't be getting the help that they need. It just takes a lot. I got a lot of stuff going on for somebody that got an interview going on, right? But that's what happens. Tell the people I'm on the line. I'm on the line.
Okay. You're a Blackberry poet.
I'm on the line. It's like my phone hasn't rang for the last 2 hours. I get on the live, and now all of a sudden people got things they want to say. But anyway, that's neither here nor there. You can. But anyway,
we gonna keep it off. That's how I do it. Gradually.
Yeah. So it is about community and rapping, and then this is the other thing that I love, and Sheri and I have talked about this a lot, is that kind of going back to something that Tiara said, and I've said it before too, and I still agree. Poetry saved my life, right? But poetry is just the beginning of the work.
Right.
And that's what we are trying to convey. Yes, writing about the trauma that you've experienced and the healing that you've received is just the beginning, because healing is an ongoing process, right? I don't think any of us ever completely arrive, but I think that when we change our perspective about reclaiming the sun and understanding that we have a right to that joy, like Sheri said, I think that it just changes your perspective. It's no longer acceptable to get on the stage and create mental health porn for the satisfaction of performance and excitement.
Say that again one more time, please.
Assistance and you
yes,
need
ma'am.
help, right? So that was the thing that Sheri and I would do, is after those poets would come off the stage, because see, when the lights go off, you are still yet a human being trying to human in a real world with real life situations. And so when you come off that stage, you have individuals like Sheri and myself and Tiara that are there to hold you up, because we understand that, it took a lot for you to dig deep to do that. And so, like I said, a lot of people will snap and clap with no real understanding and insight into the depth of the trauma that the person just shared. And what we're trying to teach now is that second part with our artists, is that you don't have to keep re-victimizing yourself for the sake of claps and for the sake of likes and for followers. That's not necessary, right? And so it's a lot of teaching that's happening, not just with the peers and the community. It's with our artists who are sharing their lives, their lived experiences. So yeah.
And I mean, I totally agree. And like I said, Miss Nicole, I know she must have killed it, but even back then when I was around in the poetry sector, because I love the North and everybody else. So I was back in the day when it was featured and was on and popping, but in a way, you can always tell it was a story behind certain people. You can tell people that had something to say. You can tell somebody that's lived through their poetry. So I appreciate that you all not only allow people to do the hot fire, but it's also a healing process. You have to nourish somebody. If you're going to be an alpha poet and you're going to be that top-notch person, you have to have that self-care. You have to have the people around you, because everything that you spit that's hot, like you're saying, is trigger after trigger after trigger, and you never see the growth. So if they're staying in this place, you wonder why people are so angry. Some people are so depressed. You see people continuously doing the same circle and circle. I call it the Mary J. Blige syndrome. Nobody like Mary J. when she make a happy album, but when she upset, she's one and the two. Everybody wants sad Mary, and that's sad that we are like that. So when you talk about, we need sunshine, we have a tendency of loving the rain and we need to start bringing more sunshine so flowers can sprout, especially in this time with the kids are sensitive and she has a young child, and I know she wants him to be in the most productive place ever. So it's just interesting. And you're doing 2 sessions. So are you going to break it up, and like, is this continuously going to be happening? It just depends on who keeps coming, or do you have it broken down to certain days on what you would like to do?
It is 2 days of hot fire.
Dylan.
Yes. 2 days of hot fire.
Okay.
There is so this program, I'm so pleased, I'm so excited by it, I'm so in disbelief of all the people and components and things that have come together. When we talk about reclaiming the sun, part of that reclamation process, especially as it pertains to poetry for personal power, yes, we indulge in all art forms. It's not just poetry, but Black folk are a folk of our stories. We're a folk of the griot. We're a folk of the circle. So allowing people to be able to tell their stories and teach from the perspective which is culturally competent is important. And there are sessions where you can earn CEUs if you're a clinician. There are sessions where you can just sharpen what you need to do in order for your own wellness, where you can write to heal or write to come through advocacy. There are whole circles like story circles and emotional emancipation circles where you don't know whether you're sitting beside clinician, peer, or who, but we're going to level the playing field and everyone's going to talk right now. And that's how we build community. Opening and closing ceremonies, impromptu art activities, poetry and art all throughout, vendors. I don't know, Tiana, you talk about it. You the one. She's like the one, not the two. She the leader. I put it over there. She talking about I'm here, so I don't get fired on my day off. We don't have days off. That's the joke.
Let me tell you.
We don't take days off.
Come on, day walkers. Come on, day walkers.
No. You know, so as she said, it's just a powerful 2 days of just information and sharing experiences, art. I'm very excited. Like I said, I think that this conference is so very unique, which also made it very difficult for us because, you know, when you start thinking about marketing too, it was like, well, who's your target audience? And it was like, everybody is your target. You know, and I'm like, oh, Lord Jesus. So listen, it is something there for everyone. Whether you're professionals seeking to, you know, like she said, continue your education in your field, whether you are an artist, whether you are just a peer and community member and you just want more information, it's open and we welcome non-POCs. We welcome everybody. What we're wanting to do is to come together and just revel in the moment. We're going to have some art performances where the artists are really going to just get naked and be very vulnerable and transparent. And I think that's my most favorite part is where this mental health and this art, it beautifully collides with one another. Tiara is actually one of the artists, well, Sheri too, but Tiara was one of the first artists that I talked to about doing the art of surrender. Because like you said, it is something very different. I think that the one thing that I can say, and I've always said, which is where my mantra comes from, that I am not a poet, I am the poem, right? I did not choose poetry, poetry chose me. That's just the fact. It was not one of those things where I saw somebody and said, you know what, they're pretty good, and I want to do that. You know, and I admire those that do it. And I admire those that can write 20 poems in 1 month. I'm just not one of them people. It just takes some time and some inspiration and a drink or two, maybe, who knows? I don't know. But what I do know is that I'm not pumping out poems like that. I have to just take my time and let it come to me. I've always been that way. And so I think the art of surrender definitely is one of the things that I'm looking forward to. I'm also looking forward to the circles because, as Sheri said, it's one of those things where you don't know who's who. But what you do know is that you all have a common shared experience. And you get to talk about it because the one thing that we're taught, especially in our profession, is that we're not supposed to disclose. So our patients don't really get to learn a lot about us or what makes us qualified outside of our education to be able to service them, right? And I tell my patients all the time, you have no idea. Don't let this badge fool you, okay? All right. I mean, I'm just saying, without going into detail, you just don't know. You know, you have therapists and clinicians that are counseling people going through hell at home, in the middle of a divorce, experiencing abuse. But of course, they can't share that with you because that's unethical, right? So that's the one thing that I'm looking forward to with the circles, is being able to see clinicians actually be able to be vulnerable, right, in a space that doesn't violate, right, their patient professional privilege in any kind of way, but and that it allows us all to see that we're just human. The one thing that I really enjoy is the peer-centered approach. I think that as clinicians, sometimes we think because of our education, we know what's best, but really the people who have lived the life know what's best for them. They just need assistance in finding out how to get where they need to go. And so we just need to be a vehicle or a change or an agent of change, and not necessarily the expert on their lives.
Absolutely.
Yeah. It's gonna be good. And then look, we got the poetry slam on Friday. Look, listen, let me say, they threw everything they could throw at me, CJ.
Are y'all participating or?
No, we are not.
I will not be participating.
Listen, we're not. That would be
you heard that. You deserved it. So that's why I was like, wait a minute.
We cannot do that. But listen, when I tell you, every bright idea they had at their meetings, they were like, yeah, that's a good idea. Let's tell Tiana about it later. I was like, what is going on?
How long was this thinking? How long did this happen?
The initial think tank was an hour and a half. That was the initial. And then what I did, because I'm one of those people who I'll take the notes, I'll take everything down, put it down, and put it aside until it's time for it. So folks will probably be thinking, we didn't have this meeting for nothing. We didn't sit up here and talk. What happened to the thing? Then boom, bam, here we are. I'm also the person who's probably the bane of Tiana's existence right now, because nobody tells me no. So I think of things like this and we roll with it. Kind of like me saying the 12-hour artathon last year, boom, continuous art. And then we did it. Yeah. Well, okay, Tiana tells me no. At first it was going to be a 3-day conference. She's like, it's the first, let's maybe 2 days. Okay, Nana. Okay, fine. So,
but she still got over it, because it was like, okay, I can't have the 3-day, so I'm gonna throw in a slam and a gala. Ha ha ha! Like, so she still got me. I just want y'all to understand that. But it's okay. When
you're thrown in on the same dime, it makes it sound good.
We're almost there. I told her, and it's funny. It's not funny now. She said, well, you know, we're ready to put the dates out for next year and get it. I said, no, I quit. I'm not working this next year. What are you saying?
This thing here forever.
You are a day walker, okay? You are a day walker. Y'all three, y'all are day walkers.
Oh my God, my friend. That's what's up. But I love it. And I love, like I said, she's a visionary. And this is the thing. If I didn't support her, I definitely wouldn't be doing it. And though it's been a lot of work, I'm honored and I'm appreciative that she trusts me and my skills to be able to assist in making this happen. It has been, it's one of those things, it's like a baby. You know, you carry the baby for 9 months and it's hard and you have all these pains and things happen to your body, things that you can control, some you can't, and you're frustrated, and up until the 9th month, you know, you're like, I'm ready. And then when the baby comes, it's like none of that ever happened. You know, It's like your memory is erased of all of the trials that it took to get there. And so that's what I'm looking forward to. I know it's going to be phenomenal. I'm just excited.
It sounds phenomenal. I mean, everything that you have. And also, if you're listening to this, you can also look it up. It's going to be www.riteofjoy.com. That is RITEOFJOY.com. That's where you're going to find it. So, I mean, just the name alone, just to see that you young ladies are all excited about it. You know what I'm saying? Because there's some lifeless times out here in the city. And like, it's just important. It truly is, because I've lost somebody this weekend, a classmate and more, due to violence, domestic violence, bipolar and more. which I can understand how life happens, but I'm excited for what you all are doing. Hold on for one second. I think I got allergies. Where is it going to be located at, by any chance? I'm sorry, where's the conference going to be at?
In Unity Village, which is in Lee Summit. The brain is working. 1901 Northwest Blue Parkway. Am I right, girl?
That's right.
I be knowing sometimes.
Yeah.
It is the Unity Village Hotel Conference Center. And it is a beautiful place. I cannot emphasize this enough. My first time ever really, I mean, you ride past it, it's big enough to have its own zip code inside the city. And you ride past it all the time. You wonder, what are they doing there? And my first time really encountering it was actually coming to do poetry at a wedding. And we were outside, and it's one of those spots that you can release doves, and it has the water fountains and stuff. But the hotel conference center itself is awesome. And they've even made updates to what was already awesome. And they do everything just to provide every possible comfort. Plus now social distancing and all that has been thought of as well. So we're equipped for our people to come, be safe, learn, commune, connect, hopefully. You know, it's just my dream that at one of these conferences, because this is just the first one, that somebody will come and bump into, like, I have trouble finding a Black therapist, and boom, they found a Black therapist at the conference.
Therapist is needed. I'm going to go ahead and go back. I got my good insurance card yesterday. Yes.
Got him.
A bigger hope for me is that you have maybe therapists and clinicians that come through that don't necessarily know much about peer support and really embrace the concept and really start using the teamwork aspect, because when people come in for mental health services, honestly, they should have a team. They should have a therapist, a person who maybe is a psychiatrist if they need medicated therapy, and an advocate who talks to them, walks alongside them, and that advocate is a peer support specialist. What Tiana was mentioning earlier about how clinicians are trained, and it's in their ethics not to talk about themselves. For peer support specialists, we're ethically bound to tell our recovery stories. Because we walk side by side with people. We have to tell them how we got over, whether we went through the mental health system, whether we went through religion and prayer, whether we went through other alternative wellness methods. And it's up to us also to come up with those resources and fan the flames of our peers, and advocate for them even inside of that group approach, where they may be getting prescribed medication and they're like, I don't want to take it. Okay, well, before you mark her non-compliant, have you asked her why she's not taking it?
Right.
Have you seen that she takes this kind of blood pressure medicine and maybe this is making her feel this way or this, that, and the other? Can we talk this person through this rather than saying we're going to force them and make
especially in today's time, you have to be able to advocate for yourself. You truly.
And sometimes people, especially if we're having a mental break, we ain't all here to advocate for ourselves. It's one of two ways. Either we're going with the flow or we're completely resisting.
Absolutely.
And someone has to be there to be an advocate. Not to say that your clinicians are not advocates, because on our team, we have some awesome clinicians. We have some awesome clinicians that are down with recovery, that understand wellness, that welcome all that. So I feel incredibly blessed.
Awesome. Well, I tell you what, ladies, I'm not going to try to get you to tell everything that's going to happen, because it sounds like it's some incredible things. I will do this. I will open the floor to you ladies. So if you have shout outs, if you want to say anything, I don't know if you want to spit hot fire. I know poets be like, I'm good.
I'm one of those. No, I'm good. But listen, I do want to talk to Tiara a little bit, because we have her on here, just about her experience with P3, how it's impacted her life, and what she's hoping to gain from the conference. Because like I said, there are a lot of us that are, not a lot of us, not me, but a lot of the artists that are participating, but also looking forward to some of the activities and events that will be happening.
Well, it's pretty simple.
Come on now.
I was stalking Sheri for about 2 months. Like every time I would see her now, I just knew she has one of those recognizable names. You can't forget, you're not gonna forget Sheri Purpose Hall. You're gonna always Sheri Purpose Hall. So every time I would see her name, I'd be like, there's something about that lady. I don't know what it is, but I'm gonna find out. I think. Because I'm a little standoffish and I'm a little wishy-washy. I'm indecisive. You know, I thought I was still praying in a way, to be honest with you. I was really beseeching the throne and praying and all of that. I thought that's what I had to do. And one night I just showed up at a poetry spot that she was actually at a show that she was actually hosting. And I just popped up. And when she saw me, she acted like she knew me. I knew she didn't know me because I ain't know her. So I'm like, she don't know me, but all right, whatever. Hey, how are you? Good to see you. Thanks for having me. You know, whatever. And then after that, it would just be like she said, I would be doing like little clarion calls or little subliminal messages. I'm always writing the beginning of a poem somewheres. It's always my status messages are poems. They might be stories, but they're actually poems. You might hear them later. And so that's what happened. She saw something and she asked me if I was okay. And I said, I don't know. She said, okay. And they got it. Like from then on, I said, she didn't try to tell me how I felt. Tell me what to do. Like, because normally I tell people, I'm not happy. I'm not having a good day. I'm doing good just to be here right now. Mm-hmm. And they're like, oh, girl, you just need to put it in the hands of the man who holds the sea. What? The sea? Shundo. Like, what you talking about? Okay, all right. I thought me and Jesus was cool.
What else? What else? Oh.
I don't know the sea, but all right, cool. That's your solution. And so I got to at that point when I met Sheri, I was done. Like, I'm not gonna talk to nobody about it. It's whatever. It's gonna be what it's gonna be. I'm done. I had plotted it out and everything. I took my son to school that morning, and that was gonna be it. He wasn't gonna see me no more, and I was like, he'll be fine. The way my grandmother and my parents love him, he'll be fine.
Right.
And yeah, I have a piece that's going with a part of the. I don't want to get into it, but that was the day that I knew I needed therapy because somebody told me that I had pretty eyes, and I said, if you could see what I see, you'd probably wonder how I live with myself.
Mm. Yeah.
And so it was just, it's been one of those things. I think she came in, and then when I got a part of the organization, I didn't know what was going on. I was surprised. I didn't know. Like, she knew that I was kind of in between jobs. I wasn't thinking nothing of it. And one day she called and she said, how you doing? I said, oh, I'm all right. About to call up under this rock and die. And she's like, I'll be there in 20 minutes. Okay. You just gonna invite yourself over? Address. She's like, what's the address? And I'm like, I know you ain't inviting yourself to my 5013 Truce Avenue. You know, like, I'm giving all the information. I'm dropping it. And so I look up and she pulls up and we get in the car and then we just riding. And so in my mind, I'm like, where are we going? Where are we going? We show up to the old headquarters for P3, and she's like, and I still don't know what's going on. They're like, yeah, let's get her this bag. Her? Who is her? Mm-hmm. They're talking about me. And they're like, here, we're gonna give you this computer and whatever. She said, I'm gonna offer you a job. A what? Who? You said what? A job? To do what? She's like, I want you to run the office. Who? Where? Who, me? Now? Like in a couple of days, or do I get them? Do I get like right now? And she's like, yeah. You know, I ain't never ran an office before, right? That's okay. You'll learn. Huh? No, like, no, like, and so she's like, don't learn.
It's
Are
no
you-
shade under that
like-
rock. It's about the sunshine under the rock.
Yeah, it was like she saw something in me that I wasn't trying to see in myself. That's what it was. It wasn't so much, it wasn't that I didn't know I had it or I didn't think I had it. It's just I wasn't trying to see it. I wasn't trying to accept that, yeah, you might be a cold piece of work. You might be a force to be reckoned with.
Mhm.
You just might be.
Mm.
And you know what, Jay, this is the crazy thing. So, I was born in Kansas City, raised in Dallas, came back to Kansas City when I was 30. So when I came back, it was almost like I had to reacclimate myself to the city and get to know family members all over again because I was 5 when I left, right?
Mhm.
So after Tiara comes in and she starts coming and she's like, oh, that's my cousin. And I'm like, oh, that's my cousin. I was like,
Family.
so
Wow.
ironically, it was like, so here we are, have been kind of running in the same circles and it hadn't clicked yet. Like, oh, we're related. That's my family.
Right.
So, and Sheri knows this. I'm always like, God does things divinely. He orchestrates things in such a way. And sometimes we just don't understand it. I remember when I first met Sheri, coming off the stage, eyes pouring down, crying so hard and just loving and embracing on each other as if we had known each other all of our lives. And it's been that way ever since.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, this is a pretty special conference, not just on a professional level, but on a very personal level.
Absolutely. And I can see it. And I appreciate you all for being who you are for the world to see even right now, even though I'm gonna drop it tomorrow. Whatever I can do, I just want to bring awareness to what you all are doing. And I don't even have to ask what your 3% is, because basically you walked it in the flesh right now. You genuinely can see who you are, you genuinely have your cause and effect, you know what your motives are, and you know what you want to do, and you're doing it for other people. So I just think it's super dope. Like I don't even have no closing speech. Like that's why I said I just wanted to give you all the floor. And as far as me, I am so proud of the work you ladies are doing, because when I was back home, I had a heart for people and I was a fool for hope. I'm a worker and I give, no matter what it is. And I never took time for myself. So to see people actually nurturing each other and giving and wanting to push the bar of sunshine, as you were saying, you don't have to get so used to the darkness. You don't have to get used or be desensitized to what the world has for you in the city. So I truly appreciate it. Again, I'm gonna give you ladies the floor. Is there anything you want to say? Shout outs, anything like that?
What I will say, after all these wonderful, beautiful, smelly flowers that these ladies have given me, it is the gift that keeps on giving, right? So as you move along in relationship and fellowship and sisterhood and brotherhood with people, everyone has ups and downs. So these ladies have seen me at my very worst, have seen me toe up, have seen me, we've already talked the jet setting that Tiana does. Tiana will, okay, I'm kidnapping you now. And you're not working. And that's what we're doing. Tiara will come into the office. She can feel that my spirit is off before she's left her house. I don't know how any of them do this stuff. Come in and find me as a puddle in my office. And trust me, in the office, I don't even know why I call it office. It's like a second home or something else. We act a fool, a whole fool.
I take off days and go to work.
Of our working. Yeah, she comes in on her off days and rolls around in the floor. And I take pictures because I have to. In between all that, like the work is hard. The work is intense. It's not just hard, it is intense because you have to be committed. because you hear all these stories and yeah, you get to laugh at something like, this is truly nuts. This is crazy. Mind you, crazy is one of them words that only crazy people can say about each other. So anyway, this is truly crazy. And when you get done with that, it is you laugh to keep from crying, but people can tell where your spirit is. Right. And my hope for this conference is to build a community such that someone can tell. One of the things I've always said is that you can tell that a person is dead before they ever kill another person.
Mm-hmm.
You can tell they're dead inside. You can look at them. You can see it before they ever do anything to anybody else. You can tell they're dying. They're on a decline. So building a community that is sensitive to one another, that isn't bypassing, and is just as much bypassing to not speak to one another as it is to say, oh, I'm fine. It's just so building community where we have trust and are able to tell the truth to one another. And telling the truth don't mean we spilling our whole life story.
Mm-hmm.
How are you today? I'm not. All right.
Right.
Be able to accept
all the details. I don't have to have all the details to help.
Hey,
No.
I used to tell them,
You ain't got to do all the business.
They ask me, how you doing? I say, I'm just.
You just don't. You know, the people that do this, the nosy people. I mean, like, you don't need to know all that. You just need to know.
Tell me about it.
Right. What's important, you know. But I'm going to say this, and this is going to be my last little something. I really want everybody to come out. The one thing that I have had the privilege as the project lead of seeing is that, and I've been a part of a lot of events and curated a lot of art stuff, right? Is that P3 is not concerned about the money. Usually the money is the bottom line, right? I have watched this organization put things together, go all out, spare none, for the community. And as the consultant, I've even had to go back to her and say, hey, you know, ain't no monies. You know what I'm saying? Is you okay with that? Okay with that? You know, sister to sister. But you know, but her heart is so for the community that it's never been about the dollar. And so I really want people, clinicians, community members, pastors, leaders, it doesn't matter. You know, if you run youth organizations, I need you guys to come out and get this information, because they're not taxing a whole lot. It's even to the point where they are doing 50% off on Tuesday to make sure that y'all get there, because it's never been about the money. You are getting hot breakfast and hot lunch. Let me tell you something. I've done a number of conferences, and baby, you get the continental now, okay? The continental. The continental now breakfast, where you get a cup of cereals. I'm not listening.
Hard Danish with the cold in the middle.
Egg or two. It might be cold, might be hot. I don't know, you know, and some coffee and some juice, right? You getting a whole hot breakfast. You're getting an entirely hot lunch. Mm-hmm. Have options for everybody: vegan, vegetarians, acknowledging all the food dietary. It's going to be a good time. We have meditation, yoga, we have prayer. We're trying to meet everybody where they are. So if you can come out, please do. Don't make the excuses. This thing, we have made in recent years mental health almost like a cliche, and there's nothing cliche about it. There are real people having real problems who don't know what to do. And if that is you, or if you are mentoring or counseling or working with people who don't, this is the place that you want to be. Just to, if nothing else, to just be in fellowship and be elbow to elbow with people that are doing the same work as you.
Absolutely. And people need to understand that, you know, like you just said, sometimes it's about networking. You never know what 6 degrees of separation to do, or who knows somebody that you need to know to make you feel or empower you to go ahead and go forward or work together. So I truly appreciate you, ladies. I was going to do it for tomorrow, but I'm going to discuss with you when you want me to release this, because all this great information, I might need to just go ahead and just put it on the hot press and just send it to you, so you can send it to whoever you want to. Again, T. Coop, I appreciate you allowing me to be, just here for these young ladies. When I'm back in the city, if you have any event, hopefully I can show up. I really want to see what's going on. And again, like I said, I keep opening the floor. I keep saying y'all good.
The
So
poets are taking over on Thursdays. If you haven't heard about it,
what happened?
you need to get with it. The poets are now reclaiming our home again.
What?
Yeah, every Thursday.
Where's it at?
So you want to catch that at the corner as of right now. Don't be some changes, but Sheri will have more on that. There you go, right there.
It is 1601 East 18th Street. So we're right on the corner of 18th and Vine. The restaurant is actually called The Corner. And they have done a lot of improvements, the owners and the management, with the new management, new menus, new specials. We're when you work in the community, sometimes things fall, sometimes things pick up. I am glad to say and report that, yeah, things are looking up there. Things are looking up there. But it's every Thursday. Doors open at 7, show starts at 8, and there are slams. Tiara is going to start doing something different every month with regards to a poetry forum. I'm so excited. Especially you have a lot of people who are not traditional forum poets, and they're going to come in and say, okay, I'm going to try this thing. And that's what it's all about. Let's try it.
So there's always something to do. So if you want to check out any of the artists, you want to see how they get down, then get outside, go check them out every Thursday at the corner. Follow them on their Facebooks and Instagram, and I'm gonna let them tell it because I'm horrible. I am not a poet.
Don't start
this thing very well. But I think I got a page out there somewhere. You can follow me on Tiana Real Cooper, and then Tiana Real.
Take your time. Let them lead you. Let them lead you.
And then www.tianareal.com. You can go there, I'm for sure. And the other two, because they're professionals, we got one dropping 2 books in January and the other one got 5 books. And little old me, I'm just here so I don't get fired on my day out. Listen, they can tell you where you can find them.
With your mess. Here, you go ahead because Tiana.
Okay. You can find me on Facebook and Instagram. On Facebook, you can find me at Tiara Nicole, TiaraNicole. And then on Instagram, you can find me under the handle TB True to Self. And yeah, the website is under construction right now. And as soon as it's open, I will make it available to everybody. And yeah, so that's it. That's how you can find me.
But you want to cop them books. The first one is Tell My Son Thank You. The second is I Said What I Said. Okay.
Trust and believe. I support.
I just want y'all to know that. Y'all saw how I just plugged that. Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Like I had your book still when I brought it to Houston. Mm-hmm.
That's why you are who you are, Tiana, because you slide it right on in. You know what I'm saying?
Okay, you did it. Because you're just here to do a job. That's fly.
Older than Kev on the stage trying to slide things too.
Tell the people how they can find you, Gary.
So my name again is Sheri Purpose Hall. I'm Googleable or whatever. You can also find me spokenpurpose.com. That's my website. And for my social media handles, at Purpose Spoken or at Spoken Purpose. So there's only one page that's at Spoken Purpose. That's my fan page on what's that? That's called Facebook. Everything else is at Purpose Spoken. So that's my Instagram. That is one of my Facebooks. Twitter.
Look, listen, you know you onto something when you say I'm Googleable. Googleable.
She didn't look in the camera and say she said Googleable. I mean, that's my fan page, so.
I got that from Spades. Spades is the one. Google me. I'm like, oh.
Googleable. Listen, I'm not even Googleable. Because I suck. But listen, let me put on my professional so y'all won't be like, oh, she's crazy. But yes, Tiana Cooper of Adet Consulting and Publishing would like to thank Poetry for Personal Power. for allowing us to lead you on this project. It has been great.
That's the civilized Negro right there. That's the civilized. All right, well, I'll tell you what, ladies, I'm about to wrap this up for 1 second. Please stay on for a second because I don't know how to do the outro stuff. So, and we're walking.